Hard to believe, but Mitsubishi once was king on the roads and racecourses, building cars that had them stop and stare and melt the rubber. This wasn't just car building, it was mighty, breaking the limits of fearless design and thrilling speed, with huge dreams under its umbrella of legacy. Now, coming to the present date, what do we see? Now a brand so careful with crossovers and affordable cars, the shadow of greatness that once moved so many motorsports fans. What happened? How does such an enormous empire fall to ordinary status? The story of Mitsubishi's stellar rise and painful decline requires going back in time to its rough beginnings and tracking how the firm based on muscle lost energy. Ready to find out? Prepare yourself. Humble beginnings. Mitsubishi Motors did not start into being with shiny chrome wheels, some metals, or a loud engine. Instead, it started at sea with Mitsubishi Zaibatsu, a large Japanese group founded in 1870 as a shipping firm. Over time, Mitsubishi would grow to reach into steel, banking, mining, and eventually automobiles. Now, by the early years of the 20th century, they had set their eyes on something few Japanese companies were doing: the manufacture of automobiles. Their first car, the Mitsubishi Model A, came out in 1917. A simple attempt, it was Japan's first production car. They did not succeed, though. It was too costly for a country just trying to get back on its feet after the start of industrial growth. Not an exciting beginning as they would have liked. Mitsubishi put away its big plans for making cars for now. The PX-33 and an early legacy 20 years later, Mitsubishi was moving in a completely new direction. World War II was starting, and Japan needed military vehicles. Mitsubishi's engineers responded with the PX-33 in 1937, a tough prototype that was not just a regular vehicle. This was Japan's first four-wheel drive car. It laid the groundwork for their future success in off-road vehicles, even though the PX-33 was never made in large numbers. With its loss in 1945, Mitsubishi was badly bruised in body and spirit. The Allied forces broke up Japan's Zaibatsu groups, and thus Mitsubishi had to divide into smaller companies. All that remained of Mitsubishi for many years made trucks, buses, and scooters just to stay alive. But there was still something in their blood, an urge to create, to make something daring. It would take many years for that spirit to come back to life. The spark of the 1960s and rally pioneer. In the 1960s, Japan was in the heat of economic resurgence. New ideas cropped up along with totally new industries, and people started wanting cars everywhere. With this economy booming, the demand was for small and cheap cars. Seeing this opportunity, Mitsubishi Motors came back in 1960 with the Mitsubishi 500, a small and sleek car for the common man. But it was not just another city car. Mitsubishi had bigger goals ahead. They wanted a shot at races. In 1962, the Macau Grand Prix joined with the Mitsubishi 500 Super Deluxe, a good and quite brave choice by this company since it was still working on improving its image. Poor disbelief was turned upside down as this small car from Japan easily took the race, showing now Mitsubishi was important. Immediately, this race created a strong desire to show their worth throughout the world. By the late 1960s, another small car was created by Mitsubishi, the Colt 1000F. This light sedan was not only designed to drive on roads, but also in rallies. In 1967, Mitsubishi sent two Colts to take part in Australia's Tough Southern Cross Rally. It was their first time doing very hard motorsport. They did not win that year, but the Colts went well, coming third and fourth place overall. But Mitsubishi was just getting started. In 1970, a new model was launched, the Gallant. More potent and well-made, it became the darling of Mitsubishi. A year later, they signed up one driven Scottish farmer who was also a racer, Andrew Cowan. Cowan had a dream and immense belief in the potential of Mitsubishi. With Cowan at the wheels, the Gallant soon started to dominate many rallies on each continent. The first huge victory came in 1972 when it took down the invincible Nissan 240Z in a battle that left almost everyone in awe. No longer did they go with Mitsubishi as mere participants, but with them, it was now a force to deal with. By the following year, 1973, they made history by pulling off the podium sweep first, second, and third places in the Southern Cross Rally. But it raised the bar for everyone by persuading them, how far would Mitsubishi go? Little did they know, the most thrilling parts of their story remained on screen. Joginder Singh and the African connection and creation of Mitsubishi Lancer. Sure enough, Mitsubishi was good to go in Australia, but their story originally began in the tough areas of Africa. Mitsubishi employed a Kenyan Indian rally driver, also known as the Flying Sikh, he was a good and resolved driver. Without any aid, he entered the 1973 Safari Rally with a Mitsubishi Galant, which he had paid for. Thereafter, Singh motored his car over rough ground and passed many stronger rivals. He did not only finish the race, but won it. This win was Mitsubishi's first experience of international rally success and made Singh a motorsport legend. From that time on, Mitsubishi's name was always connected to the spirit of rallying. But finally, in the mid-1970s, Mitsubishi had a swell new tool to go rally racing with, the Lancer. Launched in 1973, the Lancer showed what Mitsubishi could really do in sports. Strong, dependable, and flexible, it had all a rally car could want. Andrew Cowan and Joginder Singh drove the Lancer into the winner's circle to turn it into a rally champion. In 1974, the Lancer finally won the Safari Rally for Mitsubishi. It wasn't just another notch on the belt. It really was the harbinger of things to come, as Mitsubishi was now very much a player on the international scene. For the next 10 years, Mitsubishi kept trying new things and improving. Their cars were strong, dependable, and able to handle tough conditions. But in the 1980s, things were about to change. Audi's Quattro changed rally racing, and Mitsubishi faced a new challenge. Would Mitsubishi forge through this milestone shift in motorsport? Or would their commanding position get swept away by the new movement? The Group B arms race and creation of the Galant VR4. The 1980s brought the best time for rallying. Group B. It was a kind of racing without rules, full of velocity, danger, and new ideas. Audi was leading all with their all-wheel drive Quattro, while others fought as hard as they could. Mitsubishi didn't want to stay out of this race either. They created the Starion 4WD, a car very powerful but made from light materials with advanced technology, able to become the winner. But it was not to be. Group B was riddled with so many problems, and by 1986, it was killed off. The Starion 4WD never got a chance to prove itself. For Mitsubishi, this was a gut-wrenching disappointment, but far from the end. They had another scheme up their sleeve, another car, another start. In 1987, Mitsubishi introduced the Galant VR4. This four-wheel drive sedan was made to follow the new Group A rules and used what they learned from the Starion along with Mitsubishi's rally skills. It was a powerful car, and it soon showed how good it was. In 1988, the Galant won the Asia-Pacific Rally Championship, showing that Mitsubishi was back at the top of motorsport. But this was just the start. Mitsubishi's engineers were already busy on their next project. The Galant VR4 was an early example, showing that the idea worked. What came next would change Mitsubishi forever. The rise of the Lancer evolution and Group A dominance. By the early 1990s, Mitsubishi Motors was ready to show the car that would change its history, the Lancer Evolution. Made from the lessons of the Galant VR4, the Lancer Evolution, or EVO, was smaller, lighter, and just as powerful. The first generation EVO, which came out in 1992, had a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine and Mitsubishi's advanced all-wheel drive system. With rally racing in mind, the car became very popular both on and off the dirt. But that was not only the quick car, but the beginning of a powerful family. The EVO wasn't just made to sell, but it was to win. Group A rally rules say that the car makers need to base their race cars on regular models, which they needed to sell to a certain number to the public. Mitsubishi knew this, hence, they have always kept improving the EVO with each successive version. First came the EVO 2, then the EVO 3, each with more power, even better handling, and a look that was even stronger. But even by the mid-1990s, when Mitsubishi had notched up a string of outstanding races in the WRC, this manufacturer had one ambition above all others: capture a driver's title. Finnish rally driver Tommi Mäkinen gained stratospheric fame. At the wheel of the EVO 3, very soon complemented by the EVO 4, his vigorous driving style, linked to the astonishing performances of this car, could not be beaten. But how much could Mitsubishi improve its performance? Could Mäkinen and the EVO go on to become household names in rallying lore, or was their ambition simply a bridge too far? The reign of Tommi Mäkinen. From 1996 to 1999, Mäkinen was the cream of the WRC, claiming 4 drivers' titles on the trot, very unusual in rallying. The Evo 4 to Evo 6 were fabulous cars with Mitsubishi working on everything to help Mäkinen pull out a win. The Evo 6 gained massive popularity and even got christened the Tommy Mäkinen edition in the name of the driver's success. It came with rally-inspired touches with superior performance compared to what fans have today. At one point, Mitsubishi was on top of motorsport, a company that was competing and building the golden era of rallying with competitors such as Subaru and Ford. But as the 2000s drew nearer, it started to unravel. Mitsubishi went well into motorsport, which should have aided them in the future. However, the company wanted more than just rallying. Similar to other Japanese car makers during the 1990s, Mitsubishi tried to conquer the world automobile market. This necessitated the addition of more cars that people purchased, such as SUVs and sedans, together with seeking methods of reducing costs. A passion that drove them to success in rallying was now blurred by profit focus. The internal motorsport division struggled to get finance internally as executives favored volume sales over engineering brilliance. It received the first hit in 2002 when Mitsubishi stopped being a factory team in the WRC. They briefly came back in 2004 with the Evo 8. But by then, the other teams had developed, and it was no longer as strong. Even Mitsubishi had lost interest in rallying. The decline of the Evo and the business scandals. More than just a car, the Evo stood for the strong ambition and brave spirit of Mitsubishi. Through the years, this car has kept the fans thrilled with its phenomenal performance while constantly seeking perfection. In due time, however, the signs of not being taken proper care of no longer became so subdued. Every new version seemed less a courageous step forward and closer to a backward act of caution. When the Evo X hit the streets in 2007, it was obvious to all that things were very different. The emphasis at Mitsubishi had shifted, and what had once been the centerpiece of the brand, the Evo, had become an afterthought. The Evo X was a very impressive device, tucking away all sorts of modern tech and offering a seamless driving environment. That wild, crazy feeling the Evo was renowned for? Long gone. Instead, this is a car that was apparently built en masse rather than with passion. The world around it had changed too. Rallying, once the ultimate proving ground for automotive brilliance, was no longer the cultural force it had been. As Mitsubishi's motorsport legacy faded into a distant memory, the Evo began to feel like a myth from a bygone era, struggling to find relevance in a market that had moved on. Then came the blow. In 2015, Mitsubishi pulled the ultimate lie. They just said it. Evo X was the last model. There would be no Evo ones. No more cars carrying the mantle of this legacy so loved by fans and drivers alike. This news hit below the belt, leaving fans in shock. How could a car once representing all that is exciting and bold from Mitsubishi be so callously discarded? While Mitsubishi's rallying story was ending, their corporate story was falling apart. The company had become embroiled in a series of scandals, each one more damaging than the last. In 2000, however, it was found that there had been cover-ups of defects in Mitsubishi vehicles and suppression of safety concerns on millions of vehicles produced over more than 2 decades. The consequences of this revelation included large-scale recalls, worsening sales, and the almost collapse of the whole company. In 2016, another scandal happened where Mitsubishi again admitted to falsifying fuel economy data of some cars. The added infamy dented its reputation so badly, and such huge losses were accrued, that Mitsubishi needed outside help to stay in business. This time it was Nissan buying a big stake in Mitsubishi Motors. Although it saved the company from bankruptcy, it spelled the end for Mitsubishi to remain an independent company. What does this merger mean for Mitsubishi's history? Can the fighting spirit that used to define them live on with new owners? Or is this really the last part of their famous story? How the dynasty was thrown away. At the helm of Nissan, Mitsubishi completely changed tack. The maker of rally legends and engineering tours de force morphed into a crossover and econobox peddling entity. The Outlander and Eclipse Cross became the bread and butter for Mitsubishi, offering little beyond practicality and a relatively low price tag. The Lancer, which was once a great car, was completely stopped, creating a big gap in Mitsubishi's range of cars. The company's engineers, who were once very creative, now had to design cheap cars for many people. It was not an overnight happening when Mitsubishi went down, but was one painful and long process. Passion, new ideas, and taking the risk explain the reason for their motorsport success. In their growth, those values were replaced by greed, bad decisions, and a way to make money. Their scandals broke consumer trust while their pullback from rallies turned away the very fans who used to be the biggest promoters. The Lancer Evolution, once the best thing about their lineup, became the victim of a company without direction. Could Mitsubishi rise again? Mitsubishi's story isn't over, but the path to redemption won't be easy. To reclaim their place as an automotive icon, they would need to rediscover the daring spirit that defined their golden years. They would need to embrace their heritage, invest in engineering excellence, and most importantly, take risks again. It is possible. There have been such comebacks in the car world. The Supra is backed by Toyota, the Z is backed by Nissan, and even Ford has made the Mustang Mach-E a beacon of new ideas. If Mitsubishi were to do something similar with the Lancer Evolution, embracing their rally history while looking toward electric cars, then they could bring that excitement back. But for now, the once great dynasty still stands as a warning, testimony to the way in which ambition can breed arrogance, innovation spawns complacency, and even the most powerful of empires can come unraveled.